Welcome in, and thanks for joining us for the latest edition of the WHHI Daily News, where we strive to bring you more Lowcountry news more often. I'm Bob Stevens. Likely to keep the procedure from being any more of a circus than it's already become, the body of Stephen Smith was quietly exhumed over the weekend for an independent autopsy to try to better determine how the then teenager died back in 2015 when his body was found on Sandy Run Road in Hampton County. His mother, Sandy, raised more than $100,000 on a GoFundMe page to push the exhumation forward after State Law Enforcement Division Chief Mark Keel said he did suspect that Stephen was not a victim of a hit and run, the reported cause of death 8 years ago. There's probably no better known or maybe reviled inmate in the South Carolina prison system than Alec Murdaugh. State prison officials have now decided that, for now at least, he will be kept away from the general prison population. He's been put in a special protective unit in an undisclosed prison that houses 28 inmates individually, all with their own 8 by 10 foot cells, but with the same privileges as other inmates, at least. That is for his own safety, according to corrections officials. The public outcry against development in currently protected areas getting a little more intense on St. Helena Island. A rally late last week at St. Helena Elementary drew a standing room only crowd of 450 to protest a proposed golf course and housing development and continue to try to preserve Pine Island. Now, there's a developer that wants to build dozens of homes and 3 six-hole golf courses on the 500 acres of Pine Island. Beaufort County leaders would have to change the cultural protection overlay that has protected the island for Gullah Geechee natives for more than 20 years. One of the stipulations in the overlay prohibits golf courses with more than 9 holes, resorts, and gated communities. The County Community Services and Land Use Committee is expected to discuss the issue at its next meeting. The protesters have the support of a number of county councilors, Beaufort Mayor Stephen Murray and State Senator Chip Campson. It's been 4.5 years since they voted on it. Ladies Island residents are finally going to see some of the progress on a $5 million improvement on the airport frontage road near the Walmart, the second of 9 projects in the Ladies Island part of the approval by voters of that penny sales tax back in 2018. The project, only 1,000 feet long, but it will connect an area south of the Sea Island Parkway to the Parkway. Its hoped for completion date next January. Masters Week in Augusta is already underway, with many of the biggest names playing in Augusta now committed to visiting Hilton Head next week. The latest commitments to the RBC heritage, including PGA champion Justin Thomas, U.S. Open champ Matt Fitzpatrick, Jason Day, Victor Hovland, and Shane Lowry. About the only big name missing early in the week still is world number 2 Jon Rahm. Players, though, have until Friday evening to formally commit to play for the elevated purse of $20 million. For more information on these and other Lowcountry stories, we invite you to visit the sources listed on your screen. We'll talk more sports in just a little bit, but first, Maria Soden has a look at a week weather that we can only hope is as good as this past weekend.
Thanks, Bob. Yep, so taking a look ahead, it does look like we'll get a break from all the rain at the beginning of the week, but then by the end of the week and into the weekend, we will see those storms coming back. Taking a look at Tuesday, however, it's going to be partly cloudy, with Hilton having a high of 77, a low of 64. Bluffton's going to have a high of 82, a low of 64, and Beaufort's going to have a high of 81 and a low of 63. The sunrise for Tuesday is going to be at 7:08 and sunset's going to be at 7:45. Taking a look at the beach tides, high tide's going to be at 8:53 a.m. and low tide's going to be at 4:10 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the week, Wednesday it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy with the highs in the 80s and lows in the 60s. Come Thursday it's going to be cloudy with an afternoon thunderstorm, but it should be clearing up by the evening. Highs remain in the 80s, lows in the 60s. And then come Friday it's going to be mostly cloudy, but we will see scattered thunderstorms throughout the day, and then the rain will continue into the evening. Highs are going to drop down into the 70s and lows in the 60s. That's it for today. Let's hit it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. As I mentioned, we're going to talk some kids' sports a little later on. Then we're going to talk about what the grown-ups were up to over this past weekend. We're going to the chamber ball, la-di-da. And we're also going to watch a little polo, la-di-da again. Stay with us.